Hey, I'm your host, Melissa, and I want to welcome you to Not Your Average Blonde podcast. I'm here to show you how to elevate your life to become the best version of yourself. I want to take you along your journey to be anything but average and step into your confidence era. Join me each week by subscribing and listening to Not Your Average Blonde podcast, and let's begin our journey to become anything but average. What is up, Not Your Average Besties? So I'm super excited to talk with you today. I'm actually in a pretty chatty mood. Got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving pieces. But first off, I wanted to apologize for not posting for the last 2 weeks. I'm in the middle of transferring hosting platforms with this podcast. That way I can spread it out to more people and across a lot of different other mediums. And that's been a bit of a pain in the ass trying to figure that piece out and getting it transferred over. And then also the primary program that I use to record this podcast is being shut down, and it's been very difficult to find a new one that I like and one that it's easy to record on. And then also for editing, I'm still definitely working through a lot of the kinks with editing this podcast, but I've been working through those kind of factors the past couple of weeks. So I apologize for that, for not having anything posted. But there's probably a good chance too I might run into that over this next week or so as I'm kind of figuring this last few pieces out on it. So thank you for your patience with that. And thankfully we haven't officially launched Not Your Average Blonde yet. So I have a little bit more time, a little bit more grace with this. But I just wanted to give you that quick update. What are some other updates that I have? Pretty excited about today's episode, but I wanted to go through a few other updates for kind of what's going on with this podcast and going forward, and the whole Not Your Average Blonde brand. So earlier this week I did actually a photo shoot for launching Not Your Average Blonde, and for this podcast I'm super excited for it. I paired it with some local ladies here who helped me with hair and makeup, and who did the photos, and I think that they'll come out well. I was a little nervous because I did get a facial actually over the weekend that left me super bruised, which I've never had that happen before from a facial. It was pretty wild, and I didn't even notice it until I showed up for makeup, and the lady was like, "Are you okay? Your face is bruises on it, on my jawline and stuff," and it was super swollen, which kind of sucks. But I guess it kind of happens though when you get lymphatic massages. If you've never had one, I highly recommend it. Bruising is not common. You just have to drink lots of water afterwards, but I absolutely love getting lymphatic massages and facials because it flushes out a lot of the toxins out of your system, and it feels great. It's absolutely amazing. But I think for the face, between using the gua sha and then the cupping, it pulled a little too much of the blood and stuff, and it pooled a little bit in my face, and it was just a little bit too intense for what was going on. And I should have told the lady to kind of to go a little bit softer, go a little bit easier, but I didn't. It felt really good, but I kind of paid the price the next day. So hopefully my photos didn't come out too strange. I do think my face looks a little bit different than it normally looks, just from it being a bit swollen. And then I had to wear way more makeup than I wanted to, just to hide some of the bruising on my jawline. And I didn't want it to look like I had 5 o'clock shadow or anything. So we went much heavier than what we had planned. I actually prefer more of a natural look, or kind of a soft glam look. But it is what it is. I was already committed and dedicated, and lesson learned. And I'm sure that the photos came out amazing. And on top of that, I was able to support some local businesses and some local ladies with their business, and then hopefully be able to share and connect with them more so with this brand. Going along with Not Your Average Brand, I also have been working on a few other side projects to continue building Not Your Average Blonde and being able to expand more into the wellness realm. I'm super excited to share that with you. It's definitely going to be quite a journey, and it's going to take some time and some pretty studying and steady dedication to continue this. But I've got some really neat goals and stuff that I want to work towards, that I'll share with you guys over time, and we'll release it when I'm ready. But I'm excited to expand into more things that I'm passionate about, and then to be able to share that with other people. I think that's one of the coolest parts, is being able to share positivity and be able to share just some really good stuff with other people. And even if they don't take it, you never know what type of impact you can have on one person, and that can go such a long way. I know for me, it's made a huge difference when people have helped me out along in my life, and I'm finally in a good place that I'm ready and want to be able to like give back to the universe and like to other people with that. So on the personal side, with updating, giving you guys like an update and still focusing on kind of like how things, small things like compound. I've been focusing a lot on the small things in my life that have added improvement. And some of the biggest changes that I've made have been I've added in like red light therapy. I've been focusing a lot on like my nutrition. And then also I changed up like my workouts like a little bit. And it's done wonders so far. And so I'm pretty excited to continue on that, to like, experiment and to tweak like a little bit more. But for red light therapy, I've added that in within the last like 2 or 3 weeks. And I've noticed it's done wonders for like my sleep as well as like for some of my skin goals. I've been struggling with a few aspects of my health that I've been trying to fix, which is pretty frustrating because like I'm a pretty health conscious like individual, but I'm finding like as I get older, my body sometimes like gets out of whack, and like there's some changes that I need to make through as I'm going through like different periods of my life where I may have like increased stressors, or I'm trying to return to like a normal routine, or just like normal physiological changes that just comes with like the aging process. It's been pretty crazy seeing how like different stressors like affect your health. And one of them, especially for me, has been like my hormones. Like it's been such a wild ride, but I'm finding that like as I've been working on like balancing like my hormones, and then trying to get like my sleep in order, I'm able to like learn some like different like tools and things that like work for me, as I'm navigating my way like through through those. Um, I've been struggling like quite a bit the past few months with insomnia, and then breaking out, which ties into improving like my sleep goals and then improving like my health. So I've been making pretty deliberate changes like in my life to help out with that. One of them, like I said before, was like adding in like that red light therapy. I've also been a lot more conscientious of like my sleep hygiene. So like that, and that goes all the way down to like the lighting that I have like in the evenings as I'm like trying to wind down and try not to, get like an energy spike before like I go to sleep. I've really updated like my nutrition game. I've added in some more vitamins, especially like higher quality vitamins such as like magnesium, and I've added in iron and zinc supplements. With everyone getting sick right now, I've added in more like vitamin C. Become a huge fan of the brand like Symbiotica. If you've never checked them out, highly recommend it. They are a bit like on the pricier end, but the quality of their stuff has been absolutely amazing. And I, like I said, highly recommend that like you check them out and kind of figure out like they have like a little quiz that you can take to kind of gauge like what health benefits and stuff that you want to gain out of changing some of your nutrition or adding things into your nutrition. And it'll help kind of guide you towards like some of the different supplements and stuff that they have that you can like add into your routine. And so I've been playing around with that and I've been tweaking it, adding things, removing it. Some of the biggest ones I've been consistent with, like I said, has been like magnesium and then like zinc supplements, and those have done wonders. Um, Again, for the red light therapy, I was really hoping that this would help like my sleep schedule a bit more, and then like some of the acne that like I've been struggling with, especially like on my lower face, which is how I know that's kind of connected to like my hormones. But I've seen a huge like improvement with it. I'm kind of excited to see how if it's gonna have more of an impact like long term. But like because like I said, I've only been doing it for about 2 or 3 weeks now. Been going to like this place a couple of times a week and just sitting under like a red light for about like 20 to like 30 minutes like at a time, which has been nice just to kind of like take that time like for me and just calm my mind and just focus on like the warmth and then just like absorb like that light. But in the short time, like I have noticed an improvement like in my sleep as well as like in my skin a bit. Like my skin's like clearing up more. And then for like my sleep, I'm actually starting to sleep through the night because like as I've been struggling with insomnia, one of the biggest challenges I've had was like I can fall asleep, but I was waking up like very consistently at like the same time every single night. It would take me like an hour plus to fall back to sleep, and then I would just be super tired and just groggy like the next day. And it's taken a bit of a toll like on like my mental health as well and like my physical health. And it was something that like I just really wanted to fix. Like I enjoy my sleep, and sleep is such a crucial like aspect like of your health. So I really wanted to make that a priority. And one of the biggest changes I have noticed has been the mental health benefits that's come from that. And which I honestly think has been like a byproduct of like adding in all the elements of like nutrition as well as the light has just done wonders like for me so far. So I highly recommend it, and I'll keep you updated kind of on that journey. And one of the last items that like I've added in or that I've like tweaked in my routine is I've adjusted some of my workout routines. Like I said before, where I've been struggling with some like hormone imbalances, stressors, especially like for women, can like really knock your hormones out of whack. Now, like I'm not a doctor, and so I don't know like all the science like behind it. So if you like have more questions, go talk to your doctor, go get like a blood panel done, do more like deep diving into it. This has just been stuff that like I've been doing a lot of research on like for myself, and have been adjusting and seeing and what is going to like work for me, and like where am I like finding benefits. But one of those areas that I've been kind of testing through has been, adapting like my workout routines. My previous workout routine was very like high intensive training, a lot of like cardio, a lot of like weightlifting, and very like rapid like movements. Still with like proper form, but maintaining like that high intensity throughout like my workouts, which has been great. I absolutely love it. But I, as I've been trying to lower or like control like more of like my hormone levels, I've been trying to lower my stressors a bit as well too. And one of those was like my workout routine. So I've experimented where I've kind of dialed back a bit on the intensity of my workouts. I've added in like Pilates. I've pulled back a little bit on like how much like I lift in terms of like the frequency, like the amount of days like during the week. And then I slowed down like my lifting routine a little bit. And then my cardio as well. I've adjusted my cardio routine a bit more. But with Pilates, I've been pretty consistent with going anywhere from like 4 to 7 days a week. I was curious to see how that was going to like change my body as well too, which is another reason why I kind of like pulled back on some of my other workouts, which I'm going to add back in here over the next few weeks. Going to add those back in just because like I thoroughly enjoy like lifting. I actually enjoy like cardio as well too, but I'm going to balance it out a bit more with Pilates. But some of the biggest benefits I've noticed with doing Pilates has just been like my core strength and my posture have improved so much. The core has been pretty amazing. It's been such a good addition like into my workout routine. So I'm pretty excited to see how that will impact like my lifting routine, as well as like more of like my cardio with it as well too. And then with the compounding nature of everything, of adding in like the red light and the vitamins, I'm excited to see if it's going to, help like my mental health even more, and like my confidence and like how I feel like with my body. And I'd say like right now, like I'm feeling pretty good. Feel very strong. I really like the way that this impact has been having like on my body. I'm starting to have like more mental clarity, and my sleep is improving, which is a huge win. So there's a little bit of like a roundabout way and kind of a long, quick update like on me and kind of like what's going on with like Not Your Average Blonde. But I just wanted to let you know on like what some of the changes that like I'm doing and some of the stuff that like I've been working on. And I'll keep you posted on, some of these routine items of like what I've added in, like when I'm stopping, and I'll, add more of those updates like in the future. But going back to today's topic of small things compounding, the biggest like message that I want to share with this is that like anything above zero, it compounds. Optimal gets in the way of being beneficial. So what I mean by that is like excuses such as like I don't have an hour to work out, so I'm not going to work out. And I'm going to use workout as a like consistent example throughout this. You can apply it to any type of, priority or goal or routine, whatever you want to label it as, you can apply it like anywhere. But just for consistency throughout this podcast, throughout today's episode, I'm going to use working out as like one of the main like examples for this. So maintaining like consistency is a huge challenge for a lot of people, and it's something that's like has taken me a lot of time to like figure out and like and navigate. But some of the biggest lessons that like I've learned from that has been, I'm going to share that with you today. The first thing that, I had written down was like establishing like your non-negotiables. Like what are your priorities? And then what are your minimal versions like of those priorities? So for example, like my non-negotiable with working out is like I never go more than 2 days in a row without working out. My health and like my fitness is a very high priority for me in my life. So I have built a routine and elements into my life to keep that a priority, to support that, and they like keep me moving forward. And that workout can be anything from like a quick 15-minute run or 15-minute full body workout on YouTube. I prefer to do a full workout, but if I'm too tired or if I'm short on time that day, at least like I met like what that minimal is. And my minimal isn't something like I do every day. It's a on days that, maybe I have like low energy or I'm just not feeling like up to it. I have at least that minimal standard of like, okay, like I'm, feeling pretty tired. So I'm going to go for that 15-minute run. And that run could be like a jog, or even like some days it may be like a walk, but at least like I'm moving and I'm meeting like that intent of prioritizing like my health and my fitness. And there are going to be some of those things that you don't need to make like daily progress, or you don't need to do daily to still like make progress, but realize that just like a little bit of effort goes a long way. And it's the same thing for trying to like start like new routines as well. Like you start small and then you build over time. You build by, adding additional time to your workout, maybe adding like an extra day. So if you're just starting like a new workout routine, start out with doing it, 2 or 3 days like a week, if that's going to work with your schedule. And then as you become confident in it and you continue to build that, maybe add in like another day, go from 2 days to 3 days a week, or 3 days to 4 days a week. But your non negotiables should be about like your priorities. And those priorities are the things that like you want to work towards like each day. For non negotiables, that can be anything from, like your workout routine, non negotiables like with your diet, non negotiables with your social life, a business or a project you're working on, schoolwork. Like you can really apply like this concept to anything. But the biggest thing is like when you show up and you meet your priorities, you're honoring yourself. Like that's how you build like your confidence, and that's how you build like trust in yourself. Those you get those like little wins like each and every day, and like they really add up. And with building like those with adding that up, it's just really cool, like just the compounding effects that it has. But to keep it like realistic, you want to keep like your priority list like to a small list. And same thing, like I said, it's a general sense, but this can go from, or this can range from like managing like your to-do list on like on a daily basis to like your life goals. So this principle, like it applies pretty across the board for things. So like for your to-do list, at the start of each day, identify like what your top 3 priorities are and tasks for that day. And I absolutely love doing this. Like I apply this like into work, especially if you have like an endless like to-do list. You always have like those taskers. I like to take time, usually actually the day before, write down like my to-do list, and then like I'll identify, okay, like tomorrow, like these are the top 3 things that like I need to get done. And that's, it's gonna be a success for me if I get those 3 things done. And the cool thing is like once you accomplish like those items, like you said, like you've met success for that day. And then anything else that you do beyond like those 3 things, like that's just like an added bonus. Now applying that same like concept to like your life goals, like build it into like a daily habit to work towards each day. For, working out, set aside 30 minutes each day and, focus on, going for a walk or going for a workout class. Take that time each day and make it an appointment. Focus on what you need to like build and like work towards like that goal. And you want to keep these like small because like you don't want to be overwhelmed. Like that's where a lot of people like fail when, they're trying to grow and trying to like meet their goals, is you kind of come out the gate like really fast and you burn out quickly, and it's very easy to become like overwhelmed like through the process. And that's where, to keep from being overwhelmed, you identify like what those minimums like are for what that priority is going to be. And going back to the workout example earlier, like my minimum is no more than 2 days in a row for missing a workout. Another example can be like on days I work out, like I'm going to work out for a minimum of like 45 minutes. But if I have like those tired days, I'm only going to work out for maybe like 15 minutes. So, some days you're going to be at your best and some days are going to be less than that, and that's okay. But that's where the consistency is key, because those little things like add up, they compound. That's the cool thing about this, is you're keeping it dynamic. And as long as you remain dynamic, like you're going to make progress. You're going to show up each day and do what you can. And like I said, some days aren't going to be your best, but some effort is better than no effort. And this is what's going to keep you from getting like derailed. As long as you're moving forward, you're winning. Consistency is truly king here. And you're not lazy, you're not undisciplined. Making that progress, it just requires like a different mindset. And staying consistent is tough, but it does pay off. And with working towards that mindset, I promise it can like it can change your life. It's really really cool when you're able to work on that and like find like those little wins. But as you're building like consistency, some of the like biggest factors that I found, like so like I sat down and was like thinking on this like today, and took like a few notes. But some of the biggest factors that I found that have played into consistency like for me has been focus, like planning, progress, and then your mindset. And you can apply these into like any areas of your life. So for focus, like we already talked about, like keep your priorities, your goals like short. Just have have one or two like major goals at a time that like you're working towards, because you don't want to get spread too thin. You don't want to get overwhelmed. Take these goals and like write them down. Do a vision board, write them in a notebook. I've known some people who will get up every morning and they'll write down like what their goals are, and maybe like 5 or 6 times, like just over and over and over, like on a list. I know some people who like journal them each day. They'll write them on like a sticky note and like put it on their mirror. They put it in some place where like they're consistently like looking at it and like seeing it. I'm personally a fan of like the vision board like idea. I'm a visual person, and then sometimes I'll have it like written down, but usually like the vision board, and I'll keep it like in my closet or somewhere that I go every day, and that like I'm going to see it just to remind me of like, hey, like here's the future that I'm building. Here's what I'm working towards. But the key here is just keeping it someplace like where you can see it all the time. I know some people who will make like a vision board on Canva, and then they'll save it as like their phone background, which I think is an absolutely brilliant idea. I kind of want to try it. I've always done kind of like the old fashioned like vision board, like building. And like I said, like currently have it like hung in my closet, but I really want to try the Canva one and put it like on the background of my phone, because you're on your phone like so much, but seeing it each day and getting like that general, reminder like all the time, it's good for you. You're putting good energy out there and you're putting that into the universe of like, hey, like this is what I'm working towards. And it reminds you of like that future that you want to build. The next one is planning. So I'm sure you've heard like lots of goal advice, but I'm going to, so hopefully I'm not repeating this like too much for you, but break your goals down into like smaller daily tasks. Like, and then honor that time for those tasks, treat them like appointments, and then schedule that time for that each day. And then for days like when you are super busy or you're not feeling your best, like plan ahead for those busy days when you may not be able to dedicate time to it, or like an allocated amount of time. So if you normally do like 30 minutes a day, but like tomorrow you're going to be super slammed, or you're going to be really tired, or you're feeling like sick, so maybe only give it like 5 minutes that day, but still go back to that minimum of, okay, 30 minutes. Going back to like my example of like not going more than 2 days like working out, it's lenient enough of a priority that if I slip up and I miss a day, I'm not throwing like my entire workout routine like out the window, and I'm not getting discouraged over it. It's like, okay, cool, like I missed a day, or I was only able to get on a walk today, but tomorrow I'm going to give like a full workout. So I'm still able to make that progress, but I'm also allowing like space and like grace for myself for those times when like I'm busy with work, or I have low energy, or I'm sick, or I just have too many obligations. Or there's some days when I'm like, I just don't want to work out. It's not rare, but actually, because I really love working out, but I think you get like the point. And the last thing is progress. Just remembering that like consistency, it's key. Perfection is going to be impossible. Like you're not perfect. We're all imperfect human beings. But the thing is, like with that consistency and building in like that grace and like for yourself, you're going to get those small wins, and the small things like compound. So like no matter, it's only a matter of time like when you're going to slip up, and like when you do, you just get back on track. Focus, like I said, your effort on consistency, and then not on a particular outcome. When you get focused on a particular outcome is like where you get discouraged, and where it becomes so much easier just to like just throw your goals and like your plans like out the window, and you don't want to do that. Like I said, you need to honor that to yourself, because you are worth it, and you owe that to yourself to do that. Don't fear success, like go for it. And that ties into like the last part of like, is your mindset. Your mindset is absolutely like crucial for anything that like you pursue in life, especially for like your goals and like wanting to like achieve your dreams. Your mind is such a powerful tool, and it's a gift that we all have. And it's pretty amazing like the things that like you can accomplish, and that can do like that you can do like when you set your mind to it. The important thing with it is just showing up every day and like trust the process. Expect to have days where you're not motivated, and that's okay. And that's where you're gonna have to rely on discipline, which is easier when you make the time like for discipline. Progress happens like the small compounding like actions over time. Like I feel like a kind of a broken record with this, but like I can't emphasize like how much those small things that you do, how much of an impact that has. Same thing with like, look at it in finances. It's the same thing like with your goals. It's just little actions like over time, and building up like that consistency. And consistency gets easier with practice. If you need accountability or if you need help with like motivation or discipline, especially when you're first starting out, like it's hard. It's a challenge. It's like building a new habit because you pretty much are building a new habit. It's going to be difficult at the beginning, and that's where, it's crucial to like set yourself up for success. Create that vision board, or find friends or family, or join a community that will have your back and that will like hold you accountable and that will give you that support and those elements that like you need to make it like work for you. And that's the cool thing with this is like tailor it to like what works for you. Some of these items, like, might not be completely like for you. Like you may not be a vision board person. You may be more of a let's write it down on a sticky note and like put it on my mirror and I'm gonna look at it like each day. Or, that may be enough and you don't need like other people if you want to be like private about like your goals and like what your priorities are. Or you may be someone that like you need to have that community. You need to have that encouragement or someone that's gonna hold you accountable. Tailor this and like make this work for you. Because at the end of the day, like consistency is the name of the game. You're worthy of showing up for yourself like every single day. And so with that being said, like I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to thank you for your support and would like to ask you if you can please share Not Your Average Blonde podcast and go ahead and subscribe. And I hope that you have a great day. Bye, besties.